Thinking he won't, God damn it, he will. Because he's lyrically ill from Amityville. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of the Pound the Rack. Pound the.
Pound the rack. What'd you say, Chuck? Say it again, Chuck.
Welcome to another episode of the Pound the Rock podcast with my boy Second Degree 13. It's your boy King Job 301, aka Nick Hendricks, aka 24 Black Sinatra. Throw up the 24 for him one time. Elon, Mr. Rubin, how goes it, my brother?
What'd you say, Chuck? Say it again, Chuck.
What'd you say, Chuck?
We're chilling. We're chilling. Just got back to Boston today.
Okay. Tell them what you're doing in Beantown, because you're working for the cartel and everything. So how's that going?
Uh, you know, you know the vibes. But yeah, I'm a PT student doing my thing in this Boston University program,
Oh,
and you know, it's going.
they're gonna think, yo, second degree's high as shit, bro. Second degree smack, bro. But I think we covered the topic of this season just doesn't really it's not that it doesn't feel serious, it's just that it's like it's less focused. Like I feel like less players are actually focused on like playing and stuff like that, and really are just they're playing, but they're more so like going through the motions of one trying to battle a pandemic and stay healthy because obviously if they can't stay healthy, they can't play. And then no fans in the arena either. So it's like you kind of lose that motivating factor, especially if you're at home or something like that. Or if you love playing away, you just lose that motivating factor. You lose the intensity of the games because we all know in the regular season, although these games don't really matter, of course, the postseason is what matters. During the regular season, you have the fans always cheering like as if a close game is like a game seven, so you kind of lose the motivating factor of that. But I just feel like this season, the reason I'm personally having a hard time putting out basketball reactions because it's just like I don't know if it's not that the season isn't exciting, but it just doesn't feel complete in a sense. So we've had situations like the Harden situation and now the Kyrie situation of being away for personal reasons and stuff like that. But want to hear your take on it. Since last week we discussed Harden being away from the team, but now it seems like everyone has a problem with Kyrie being away from the team. So what do you think about that?
Yeah, I think I think under normal circumstances it would because I remember when you know during non-COVID times when AD was basically sitting out and they were like there was that whole all that drama in New Orleans, like that was a pretty like large story, especially like not just in the NBA, just like in sports, like that was like easily one of the bigger talking points within the sports realm, especially with his ties to like LA, before we knew that he was going to go, like,
Well, we
you know,
knew, but you just didn't
but
know when
yeah,
and for who.
but I think at this, the reason why this drama is so, it seems like it's so exasperated at this point, like it's just everything's like blown up so big, is because like it's not a normal season, like I just feel like it's such a different experience for all the players, like the season itself, like how they're doing it with no fans, but still going to different arenas around the country. Like I just feel like I wouldn't say that the players aren't invested in it, but I think there's more reason now for players to get like there are more distractions, like there are more distractions as in like it seems like there's more reason for players to have like excuses to, because
Oh, to
now
be
they can like be out,
yeah,
instead
that's a
of
good point.
like, why isn't he with the team, and it's like, okay, I can just like go out and party and then I don't have to play, like then they can't make me play. So
That's a
like
good point.
I just, yeah. And I do think it's pretty interesting about what you said about players like not being motivated. Like, there's definitely a factor of losing the competitive edge because I was watching a Spurs game recently, and it was when they were playing the back to back in Minnesota, and apparently that's been a big thing this season is like teams playing back to backs in the same city, like the same matchup in the same city, 2 straight nights,
Hmm.
and like more than half of those series, including the one between the Spurs and Wolves, have split. And the home team has a worse record, I think, than the road team in those back to backs. So like, yeah, the competitive edge, like not having the crowd is obviously a big factor. Like, it like home court advantage isn't really a thing this season at
Anymore.
all.
Yeah, for sure.
So
That's a good point you brought
those
up
are the two main.
because they're kind of forced to take precautions now, so they don't have to list any bullshit injury that that you may have or run that run that risk of bad PR saying that, oh, they're out for rest, when they can say, okay, this player has to be out a couple days, take the necessary precautions, and then go back to playing. And it also is just it's buying them time as well. So that's a good point. I didn't really think about that, but it just seems like, for me, I just feel like there are a few teams. I feel like there are a few teams taking it seriously, and then there are some teams that are just like, it's like give or take. You know what I'm saying? Like the Wizards are down in a hole. Like they're the only ones I see taking it seriously. Like they're trying to build themselves out of it. LeBron is the scary thing about the Lakers is those players are cruising. Like they're they're literally cruising, and they're still top of the league. And I don't know if the path is going to get easier now since Harden's on Brooklyn, but I like what I see from the Lakers. But I think the way they're handling it has been has been pretty good. Like, and I just think it has to do with the standard they're living by now. Since their championship team, they're looking to repeat. Everyone's saying they should repeat. Lakers in five, but the way they're going about it, I think is pretty solid. I haven't, and to be honest with you, I haven't heard much shit about the Lakers and anyone missing games due to COVID. So they doing
Yeah, I
something
think
right.
that's definitely like in large part due to the fact that you have LeBron and AD on your team. Like
Yeah.
players aren't going to fuck around, like knowing that they now, especially now with AD having that championship caliber. Like I guess like you could say in Brooklyn it should have been the same with like Katie and Kyrie bring that veteran championship experience. Like players should know, but Kyrie is also just like a different bag in just in general. So, but yeah, if you have LeBron on your team, like I'm sure he sets a pretty high standard for his team for himself.
Hmm.
That they wouldn't be fucking around. Spurs also have not had any COVID cases. I don't think anything like that. I think a lot of teams really haven't. It's just for some reason, like very recently, like we've seen kind of a small. We've just seen a lot of reports pop up, and now we're getting some game cancellations, and now it seems like everything's like coming to a head.
I'm looking at this. I was looking at this comment, bro. I think we should add this into the podcast. Just the bullshit ass comments we see on social media. Just if you see something stupid or something funny that you want to talk about. And I was having an interesting conversation on this bitch. So I saw something pretty interesting. The big three of divas is now in Brooklyn, right? This is on Instagram. Everyone knows at this point, Instagram is really just a toxic ass place. Let's be real. This place, Instagram used to be so positive. Remember when Instagram was positive back in like 2013 and shit? Went on Instagram for a
I just
minute.
remember Instagram before they had all these bots in these comments sections. Like,
Fucking
bro,
bots.
I want to see the most
Uh,
popular, the best takes in the comments, and all I see is like
it used to be that.
these
It used to
fucking
be that.
these
That
horny
was
thought bots.
anyway. I replied to this dude, keep talking down on them, they're just going to use that as fuel. Now, let me explain why I said that, right? Because I figured like a comment like this would probably get clout, but there's a reason why I said this. Every time you give superstar players a common enemy or a common thing to go after, they usually fucking do it. Like, once you give a superstar a reason to play harder, it's not going to end well for you. So you're thinking, just going into the season, we talked about this on the last podcast. I said the Nets are the favorites, right? With KD and Kyrie, they have good depth with the young players. I don't know what the hell they're gonna do now, but they got a good big man with Jared Allen. Like, this team was my favorite is still my favorite to get out of the East, right? And we are saying KD and Kyrie, these dudes are gonna go so hard because, one, they have to prove the media wrong. They got to prove the hecklers wrong, right? And then they just got to prove to themselves too that, like, I want another ring. I can win another ring. And then they're in a totally different team, totally different city, right? And they're competing for a championship, right? So they have all these naysayers to shut up, and it's just the two of them. And already they were looking far more talented than the Bucks, than the Sixers, than the Celtics, and they just looked better, and they had a reason to play. They had motivation to play. So that's why I responded to this person. Like, you give them fuel. When you give a superstar fuel, when they're good as is, but you want to like give them fuel as well, it's just going to be worse. And there are so many different examples we can go to sports about, or just specifically basketball. I mean, if you watched The Last Dance, you saw how the talking about Michael's gambling just made him play even harder in the playoffs, and he bounced the Knicks. So this dude replies, "You act like they gonna read these comments," and he puts a laughing emoji to it. And I'm like, then I reply, I'm like, "You act like they don't read these comments." So now I'm getting fucking clowned, and I don't know. I must have missed the joke, because I see these comments talking about, you ain't got to do him like that, and then it's getting all these likes, and I'm like, bruh, dude didn't say anything to me. But this dude, he had a pretty funny comment. He said, "This has to be Katie's burner," and he tagged me, which is pretty funny. But I just don't understand. Like, first of all, these are a bunch of dickheads right here. I don't know what you really think. Let me go off on a tangent. You really think the players don't see this shit? Like, you really think they don't hear the chatter? Like, KD has responded to how many like dumbasses on Twitter? Kyrie has gone on IG lives talking about this dumb shit. Harden has been approached by freaking people in the street, and you really think they don't like see these comments? Anyway, one, that doesn't make sense. But two, it's just dangerous when, and this brings me to the comment we were talking about before we went live, how people are flipping out on the fact that three superstars, basically ball dominant superstars, call it what it is, have joined forces. And honest to God, Elon, I don't understand why. Like, I don't get it. Like, we've seen superstars with superstars before. How the fuck you think KD got two rings? Like, he went to a team with superstars. So why do people think this is not going to work?
I just think I think the personalities are what is going to end up turning people off. Like Chris Paul and James Harden should have made the finals that year
Right.
that they went 7 with Golden State, and
Mhm.
like Chris Paul and you know the rest, missed 27 straight threes, but that team, like, I wouldn't even have considered them like that great of a team. But Chris Paul and
Mhm.
James Harden balled the fuck out. The only thing was, like, I guess Chris Paul and James Harden didn't see eye to eye on certain things, and that's why that kind of fell apart. And that seems to be, I just like, so I'm looking at it from, okay, let's start with James Harden. Like, didn't work with Russ either. Okay.
Yeah.
And now you have John Wall and DeMarcus Cousins, who, shout out to Boogie. Like, unfortunately, the refs really do have a hit out against him because he keeps getting these stupid ass texts for
These
no reason,
stupid ass texts, bro, for nothing.
bro. Nothing. But anyway, So you got John Wall and DeMarcus Cousins, and now now you got Oladipo coming, but that big three would have been nice if Harden actually committed to the team. Like that
Right.
that that is a good squad of three players to have on your team. Even you could
Maybe
even
throw
say
in Christian Wood.
yeah, Christian Wood, you could even say Cousins is like washed at this point, or he hasn't played in so long that it's
Mhm.
not the old Cousins, it's not Sacramento Cousins,
Right.
but he's still a solid player, and John Wall has obviously showed that he's still here to ball. He's still
Yep.
here to play.
Yep.
And for Harden to just be like, nah, fuck that, I'm out. And so that's the Harden angle of he's a super ball dominant player that seems to have this sort of diva to him. Okay.
Sure.
Then we look at KD, who seems to have definitely matured. Like I do think I thought that he and Kyrie would be able to play well together, which they did. Now
Hmm.
they're getting hit with all the COVID stuff. KD was out for 4 games, and Kyrie's been doing his thing. But when they were on the court together, they were balling.
They
Like
look
the
nice, don't
defense,
they? Like they
they're
look
nice.
they
Their
look hella
defense is
nice.
their defense obviously
Right.
atrocious,
Yeah, there's gonna
but
be yeah. But they're gonna
but they
outscore motherfuckers though. So
yeah,
that's
but they could be like the Rockets. They could score. They could score
just score
130
more.
points.
We'll just score more than you, basically.
Yeah, the Trailblazers basketball right there. Um, so that's KD, and then you have Kyrie, who's just been doing whatever he's been doing, and like
No,
regardless of what
don't.
it was for his sister's birthday. Okay, fine. He was in
No.
this public area, enclosed public area with no mask, with all these people, and then he's doing all these other things, and it's like, bro, like, are you committed to the team? Like, what if you want to be committed to social justice? That's great. I applaud him for doing that. But if you're gonna ask me about how this team is gonna function now with these three stars together, I don't see how it works when they are ball dominant, and also in this COVID environment, I have no idea how many games they're even going to be able to play together.
So what I'm trying to figure out is what is their focus right now, and not in terms of whether they want to play or not want to play, but how they basically want to go about managing the team. Because now they have three supers, they have two MVPs, they have multiple NBA champions, players that have been to the finals multiple times. So it's like, what do you want to do with this team now? Are y'all gonna start balling? Is there what's the commitment level looking like? Because even though Kyrie's going off and doing all these things, I don't get the sense that maybe it's my bias, but I don't get the sense that they're not committed. You know what I mean? I just think it's kind of like what you mentioned of them just taking advantage of the times of the regular season they're playing in. So I really don't think they're not committed because with the players they have now, with the talent they have now, they could probably turn this thing around in like 2 weeks. But I don't know. I just don't get the sense they're not committed. I just get the sense that they're not focused. Like they're just using these times to their advantage. That's what I see it as.
That's
But
fair. That's a fair assessment. But I would disagree in the case of Harden. I do think for him it was definitely like obviously it was his lack of commitment to the Rockets. So
oh
it'll be
yeah, he wanted
interesting.
he wanted to he wanted to get the hell out of there, and
Yeah. So
we
it'll be
talked about
interesting to
that.
see, you know. Yeah, because I mean, the quotes from like when he was like, "Yeah, it's been 8 years. Thanks."
He said
Like,
thanks.
yeah,
Bounced.
but yeah. So Harden got what he wanted. He's out of
Right,
Houston,
right.
playing with Kyrie and KD.
Yep.
So now he's got a ball, and like I'm sure he's gonna ball out. The only question is if they all ball out, will it still result in wins?
It has
And
to
I think,
result in a finals berth for sure.
I
But
mean,
let me get on these head
so close.
asses that keep talking about three ball dominant players can't play. Let me get on these bro. I swear we got casuals in this bitch, bro. we should have an alert on this podcast called casual alert. Just put casuals in this bitch and just show like the stupid ass comments we come across. This makes no sense. These are superstar players. Okay, let me just get to James Harden real quick. You're telling me James Harden, 35 points per game scorer, right? Who basically ISO balls a lot. We all know that. He just uses his own game, can get whatever bucket he wants. I don't get how fans could look at a player like that and say, "Oh, that player doesn't want easy buckets." You know who can get you an easy bucket? Who could get you a wide open three? Probably Kyrie or KD handling the ball. Vice versa, right? If you're telling me James Harden wouldn't love the fact that he could just stand on a 3-point line and spot up for a three, or KD wouldn't like that, or Kyrie wouldn't like that, you're telling me these players don't have to be the main like ball player basically, or the one with the highest usage rate. I don't think they care, and I honestly think they don't give a damn, bro. They don't care who, like, maybe at the end of the game they're thinking, okay, this player's hot, maybe Harden's hot, let's get him the ball in the clutch, or I got an open shot, I'm going to take this shot. Look, they're really looking at it like we have three players here who can get whatever the hell they want. So why do people think that, oh, Harden's going to want the ball for an extended amount of time? Oh, Kyrie's going to want the ball for an extended amount of time. Oh, KD's going to want the ball for an extended amount of time. All three of them know what each other can do. So why is the public treating these players as if, oh, they're freaking they're freaking fifth graders who are the leading star players on their team, on their church league, and now they're all on the same team? How are they gonna function? It's not a fucking church league. They're fucking grown ass fucking men, MVP, NBA champions, and you're telling me, oh, this shit's not gonna work. Oh, there's a lot of egos on this team. Oh, who's gonna carry the ball up? Who's gonna take the clutch shot? Like, who do they take these players for? So back to what you said about Kyrie kind of downplaying like the hierarchy in the NBA and just on his team structure. I think that was a hella slick move to basically say, look, I can do what I want, or we can do what we want. But in terms of just how the team's going to function, there has to be an actual captain, like leading the shit, like making sure if the boat goes one way, you make sure you can center it again. And I don't care where that comes from, honestly, whether it's Nash, KD, Harden, Kyrie, it just has to be there. Because it just from the outside looking in, it just looks like a shit show. And I hate when people get on the shit like that, because it's like, you really think about it, these professional players, these NBA players really have to live such a like, sometimes it's just a linear life of just not doing any wrong, not wilding out, not going too crazy, or else they're just going to get lit up on social media just for one misstep. So I'm like the last person to get on the players for acting a certain way, right? When my respect for them, my respect for what they have to do, 82 games for a whole year of just talking to the media, being portrayed whatever way the media wants to portray you, my respect for them is through the roof for that. So that's why I'm the last one to ridicule them about like if they want to wild out, like stuff like that. Yeah, there are boundaries, there are lines that, you shouldn't cross, but I'm not going to be like the first person to call out the shit, right? So I just think there has to be some sort of just leadership, because as of right now, it makes no sense if you're wilding out but you're not doing well. You know what I mean? Like Dennis Rodman, ran off to go to the WWE or F whatever it was at the time, but the motherfucker was in the finals. Like it's not like he wasn't winning. Like every time he was doing some crazy shit, they were winning. The Nets right now, it's not like they're top of the league. They're 12-0 and stuff like that, and the players just leave and go do whatever. Like they're out of. I know it's early. I'm not saying it's not early, but they're out of playoff contention, and it's not like are they even 500 right now? I think they're like maybe a game under 500 or something like that. So it's not like you're
5-6. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not like you're top 4 in the league, top 3 in the league, top 2 in the league right now, and you're just doing whatever. It's like, because you could always say the one way to shut everyone up is to fucking win. right? And yes, it's early in the season, but if you're just if you're wilding out now while the ship isn't even fucking steady, you're just gonna get more ridiculed by people.
Yeah, I agree. And again, yeah, it's early, but this is the time when Harden's now coming in.
Yeah.
This is the
And he's not
time to
coming
right the
into a
ship.
steady situation.
Yeah, this is the time to steady yourselves, like really figure out what the team is going to be about. Like these first few games aren't going to decide how they do this year, but it'll certainly set the tone for what their play style is going to look like, I think.
Sure. They gotta I mean it's a good thing the trade happened early as well, because now you have the time to try and figure it out. But then
Yeah.
everyone has to be on the same page, of course. Um, I'll be honest, bro. I think the only winners of this trade is shit Pacers, the Rockets. I can't even say the Nets won this trade, because I think they gave up a little too much. Like
The
not
Rockets,
saying they
I
didn't.
think the Rockets won this trade.
I wish I think they won it if they got Levert. I don't know why they were so anxious to trade Levert, or was it just because they were like, all right, Depot's, we don't Pacers and Depot, like there's some friction there. Why not just pick up Depot? I don't know. Like, why not keep Karras? Like, start Karras. That motherfucker's a dog. Like, why
Well,
trade?
I know they couldn't trade. They probably couldn't trade Dinwiddie. I know like Ant
Right.
texted that before, probably
No,
because he's
no.
hurt.
Karras was going. Like, the youth was going
Yeah,
once Harden was coming through. But to give
but
up
I'm just
Jared
looking at
Allen, what?
I
Why?
don't know.
And this goes
I'm
back to
looking
my
at
point of
this.
the Lakers should have kept Dwight Howard. I've been saying this. The Lakers should have kept. First of all, let's go off of this point. How do you have a Jokic stopper on your team and you give that man away? Everyone is claiming Jokic is the best center in the league. Dwight Howard put the clamps on him, and you send him away like Jokic doesn't play in your conference. First, that's one. Two, now the Nets have no fucking inside. Oh, DeAndre Jordan. Hell, DeAndre Jordan. No, the Nets have no inside interior defense. There's no intimidation there. DeAndre Jordan getting old, and definitely not the same DeAndre Jordan. No
Yeah,
inside presence. And now you
that's
have no Dwight. You have
yeah.
Marc Gasol, and it's not a young Marc Gasol. It's a three-point shooting Marc Gasol. Like, oh my! I just feel like there's some teams that should listen to me, bro. Because I be calling the shits, bro. I be calling. I be
They're
on top of
trash.
my
I
game,
mean,
bro. I know my shit, yo. I really know my shit. Because what is Brooklyn gonna do now? Like, okay, yeah, you have three of the best perimeter players ever. You have no interior defense. You have no bench. You have no youth. You have no rebounding or shot
yeah, they
blocking
gave away their
anymore.
interior defense you know, after they're already like a historically bad defensive team right now. So their strategy really is all right. We're just gonna try to score
We're
140
gonna
points.
outscore you all. And I'm not saying it can't work, right? Because it definitely can. But like, who the fuck, man? Like, I don't know if there's a clear winner for, like, okay, the Rockets got Depot, but it's not like they're getting. What year was Depot going crazy? Because he was hurt for.
Yeah, but I'm looking at this like the Rockets got Depot, and I'm looking at this 3 first rounders from Brooklyn and a Milwaukee first and 4 first round swaps from
Oh yeah,
Brooklyn.
that's true. Let me pull up
So if you're getting all those picks and you still get something in return, like Oladipo,
and
especially if especially if Harden wasn't going to want to play for you, like
mhm.
I think the Rockets, at least in the short term, don't get screwed over too badly. And I think in the long term, they won this trade by a mile pretty
They didn't get
clearly.
screwed over at all, actually. I mean, they got Depot, Exum, Caruth, three Brooklyn first, and Milwaukee first. How the fuck they finesse that? Four Brooklyn first
That's what
round.
I'm saying. They got so many picks.
They pulled a Presti, bro.
They are set.
That's not bad. That's not bad.
They're set for a good while because those
That's
picks
not bad.
also overlap. So like like some of those picks. So like some of the normal first round picks were like, let's say they're for example, they were like the even years, like 22, 24, 26,
Right.
and then the four first round swaps were like 21, 23, 25, 27. So they're getting picks for like 7 straight years or something from Brooklyn, and they also
Mhm.
get this Milwaukee pick.
Yeah, they finessed that.
They're gonna hit
18th
at
second
least like one
rounder.
or two of those. Yeah,
Levert. Damn, man. I really wish Levert went to the Rockets. I'm not gonna lie.
that'd have been sick.
Oh, John Wall and Levert, bro. What the? That could have
They
been
got to build a
nice.
Kentucky squad. They got to get deep. They got to go Depot. They got to get Depot and like two or three of those picks. Send it to Phoenix and get D Book and just build a Kentucky squad.
Wait, no, no, that's a horrible idea. Who said Phoenix is gonna let that happen? Phoenix would have to be smoking that shit. I'll be real, bruh. If he gets a ring over them, I'm calling this goat debate.
Oh yeah, if he wins a
I'm
ring
calling this shit, bruh.
against those players, yeah,
I'm done, bruh. I
yeah.
know LeBron looking at his phone like this.
I mean, he's like, what I'll say is like, we don't have to go into the debate right now, but he's as far as career accomplishments, he's like second behind MJ. But as far as like greatest overall talent the league has ever seen, he's number one.
First of
And
all,
I,
he's in a great
I
position to get his fifth MVP this year. Like, I think if he's gonna get it, it has to be this year. I don't know who it was. ESPN wanted to put Steph Curry at third on power rankings for MVP. What crack are they smoking over there, bro?
he is carrying that team though.
He not doing anything,
They're
bro.
not
They
gonna
one
they're not
game
gonna
above 500. Give
they're
it
not
two
gonna
weeks,
go
bro, and
anywhere.
he's gone.
Yeah, they're not
Give it
gonna
to
go
the next
anywhere.
power ranking vote, and he's done. Steph Curry's not going to be on. If he is on that list, I'll come back and say, you know what I'm saying? I was wrong. I was wrong. Steph Curry's been balling out. He's been carrying. I know Steph Curry. Steph Curry's not a carrier. LeBron is a carrier. Giannis is a carrier. Kawhi is a carrier. Like Jokic is a carrier. Steph Curry is not a carrier. So
Listen,
they're like they
if
put
the
him
Warriors
third.
make the playoffs, if the Warriors make the playoffs this year,
Then he would have carried them to the playoffs, and I would
he,
have to change.
he
I'd
would
have
be
to
the
change my
reason that they
stance.
make it, without a doubt. Like that
What
team is
Steph's making it.
if they make the playoffs, he should be like top three
I'll give him
candidate.
top five, but you can't
Like that
you
like
can't have that
that
man
Warriors
three and
squad,
Luka Doncic not on the list. What the hell is that shit?
yeah, they're on crack for that 100%.
Who
But
leaves?
ESPN is
First of all,
also
who leaves Luca off lists nowadays? Like, if you make a list, Luca has to be on it. They wrote that in the Constitution.
was that an ESPN thing or an NBA ranking?
I'm not sure. I think it might have been ESPN or Sports Center or something like that. Let me see.
I thought the NBA released their own.
Right,
Uh,
and I'll have to find it real quick.
I was gonna say because ESPN puts out those top 100 players every year, and
Yeah.
but I do think this was the NBA. It's interesting they had Embiid first because especially that last game he
They put
played,
Embiid first.
he is balling, and they
I
are
know, but
first, right?
where's Luca? You gonna put Embiid on the list? You
Yeah,
better put Luca on the list.
yeah,
People gonna
I
think
think
I'm
that's
like a Luca stan. I'm not even that. I'm a fan, but it's just like, how are you, Steph? I get he dropped 62. Okay, I get it. I get it. Steph, it this is why we need this. We're gonna save this for next podcast, when our top 10 podcast, because we gotta start discussing like good players on good teams and carriers. Like, we really have to specify that shit, because people are getting it confused, because from 1 week of Steph Curry dropping 62, they went from, oh, Damian Lillard's the best point guard in the league. Steph dropped 62 when they dropped Dame to top three. Oh, Dame Lillard, top 3 point guard in the league. Like, what happened? What happened? Steph dropped 62 on his head once, and they said, oh, you forgot who Steph Curry is. Steph Curry is a motherfucking monster. Steph Curry is a motherfucking carrier. Steph Curry, first unanimous MVP, 6'3", and light skins and Under Armour. Like, what are y'all on, bro? Stop being flip-floppy, bro. Steph has never been a carrier. And the crazy thing that they talk about is, remember when they talked about Kawhi? Oh, Kawhi is just a just a good player on a great team. Remember when they talked about Kawhi like that? That's Steph Curry. Okay, Steph Curry is a great player on a good team. I don't you take away, and I'm not trying to, I have to be careful with this argument, because you can't say, oh, take away his teammates or put him on a different team or something like that. But at the same time, when he doesn't have his when you don't have the second best shooter in the world on your team, right? But you're the best shooter in the world on the team. You're the back-to-back MVP. You're the first unanimous MVP who doesn't carry. Like, people just don't see that he's on a great team, and they're not giving him the same, oh, you're just a good player on a good team. Because if you look at it, he is a good player on a good team. It's not a fallacy that he's on a great team. But at the same time, he doesn't have some of those players. Steph Curry is not going to carry you to wins. Although he's doing it right now, I just don't see it happening for an entire season. Like, Steph Curry is not LeBron. Like, LeBron, you put LeBron anywhere, you say that team's going to the finals. You know what I'm saying? If I put Steph Curry in Sacramento, I'm not saying that team's going to the finals. You feel me? So I feel like there's a difference between great players and carriers. But
There's levels.
they're riding Steph.
Definitely
They're
levels.
riding Steph right now, and it's like, it's not that I'm like, oh, I didn't know Steph can do that, but it's just like, why are you doing this now? Like, why are you riding Steph? Like, we all know what he's capable of. What the fuck? Fucking MVP rankings and no Luka Doncic. Like, stop playing. And then on the honorable mention list, it was a Bleacher Report post, by the way.
That was
Honorable mention: Domantas Sabonis, Paul George, Jaylen Brown, CJ McCollum. Oh yeah, just no Luka. Just no Luka. No.
All right, I'm looking at Nick. I'm looking at the. So this is from NBA. This is from the NBA website. This was Sekou Smith's Kia MVP ladder, and I actually like this list a lot more. This was he had Curry at 5, Embiid at 4, PG at 3, Doncic at 2, and LeBron at 1, and that makes a lot more sense, I think, from what we've seen so far this season.
Read that again. Read that top 5 again.
Curry 5, Embiid 4, PG 3, Doncic 2, LeBron 1.
That makes
I
sense.
like that list,
That
but
makes sense.
I don't understand why PG is getting MVP recognition right now. Like,
I mean,
because between him
out
and
of the
Kawhi,
two on the team, he's the one that's been carrying the Clippers. Yeah. I mean, his ass had to take the 51
Kawhi went
point
out.
loss.
Kawhi went out for that Mavs game, and they lost by 50. My guy, they lost by 50, 5-0.
Hey, but the thing is, he was there for it. You know what I'm saying?
He played in that game.
Right, he played it.
He was there.
He played in the game. So you have to if you go say, oh, you got your ass bust for 51 points, you have to say, okay, you also dropped this amount of points and led the team to victory. So you can't just highlight that. You can't just highlight the worst loss in NBA history. But I have to say, I've seen a few Clippers games, mainly because they're playing the Lakers, like, throughout the week and stuff like that. But I've seen the Clippers games, and I can't front. Paul George been hooping. Like, every time he hoops, he's gonna be hated. You know what I'm saying? They're gonna be like, oh, Pfizer P. You know what I'm saying? But when he does horribly, it's like, oh, Pandemic P's back. But it's just like he's been hooping, Elon. I'm not gonna lie. Okay, yes, he got his ass bust for 51, but he has been hooping. So I'm not surprised. I'd put him number 4 though. I wouldn't put him number 3.
I've seen glimpses of him balling this year, but to be in the MVP discussion, I just don't see that at all. I think there are plenty of other players who could be put in that conversation instead of him.
3rd in the West right now, so I'll put him number 4. I'd put him number 4. I'd probably put Steph Curry over.
That right? Like that's Like I would put Steph at 3 or like 4. Like I like LeBron.
Because Steph is 7th seed in the West, and he's doing it himself. So yeah, I would do that.
Yeah, I would definitely have LeBron, Luka, Jokic has been carrying the Nuggets, considering that their defense has been pretty bad, and
We're gonna get into Jamal Murray next podcast, bro. I got some stuff I want to say.
yeah, and they just still haven't like figured it out yet. But Jokic has been like averaging a triple double, and he's been absolutely balling in these games for them, and he really is carrying them to a very high degree. So he
Why
definitely should.
Denver 5-6 then? Cuz I'm joking. I know it's still early, but I was just looking at the standings. Why is Utah second in the West? What the fuck?
Yeah,
I've been watching
like
Utah get blasted for like 2 weeks straight, and
that's what I'm
somehow
saying.
they're
Like
second in
it's
the
so
West.
wild to me. Yo, Spurs are 6-5. Like,
Yeah, yeah, y'all in playoff contention. Yay!
bro, we went 4-1 on this road trip. I'm telling you, and we didn't have DeMar for 2 of these games.
Yeah, I don't know how y'all did that.
We're balling. I think that's so. So you want to talk about leadership? Pop is the ultimate leader. Like all you could have all the discussion you want about. We had one of the best big threes in history, or best triplet. Best three players.
Triplets, bro.
Yeah, one of the best trios ever,
Trios.
playing the best team basketball ever.
Mm-hmm.
But look at our team now. Like the Spurs get so much hate and so much disrespect
We
from
sleep,
fans. It's
but I
ridiculous. From
sleep.
the
I
league.
sleep on Spurs because, well, one, because I know they're not doing shit. Sorry to break your heart, but I mean, I'm not saying
But
they're bad.
what I'm saying though is
I'm
that
just saying you wasted a fucking dollar. That's all. That's all I'm saying.
our team, our team is a team, and we ball as a team. And like on any given night, someone's gonna step up and make plays for us. And it's mostly been DeMar, but DeJounte Murray has slowly been improving his game. And like watching him play this year it's incredible. Like from where he started, like he's so much more aggressive on offense. Like his playmaking is definitely improved. Our team defense is pretty solid. We give up the least amount of turnovers per game, like historically one of the best. Assist to turnover ratio currently is like one of the best all time. Like we play team basketball, which is why I think we're 6-5. Even though if you looked at our team and our roster, you'd be like, who's gonna like
Who the
what are
fuck
they
is
gonna
playing? Yeah, exactly.
you know?
Speaking of Luka Doncic, that motherfucker just dropped 34, 13, and 9.
Yeah, man.
Dub over the Hornets. Hornets been playing well, pretty. Hornets been balling actually.
Yeah.
Look at that.
That was a
Charlotte
big
six in
man.
the East. Look at them. Look at them.
I had
Got a
to I
lot
had
of
to
players.
I had to stun a little bit with the Spurs because but
I feel you. I know you're a die. I know you're a diehard.
what if we're gonna bring it back? If we're gonna segue it back into conclusions about the Nets and their season,
Mm-hmm.
I do think they need leadership, no matter who it's from, whether it's
No matter
Steve
who it's from.
or whether it's one of the guys, one of the big three that they have now, or anyone else. They need leadership, or else I just don't see how they're gonna come together as a squad and ball as a squad and
I,
play
I,
defense
I
as a
feel
squad.
play defense as a squad. You see that RDC World video? All right, take me off speaker, top round. Anyway, yeah. Well, like I said, I always give the players the benefit of the doubt, so I'll let them handle it. You know what I'm saying? I'm not one to throw the criticism on when ain't shit ain't shit going on right now. It's not middle of the season. Like season just started. Maybe they get Harden and they're like, all right, let's shut some people up. So I'm not gonna. They're 6-6 right now. I think they're busting the Knicks' ass right now. So they're in playoff contention. So it's like I'm not gonna be looking at this shit like, oh, the ship's sinking. Like ship ain't even like left the dock yet. So I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt. I think they can obviously they should be getting to the fucking finals. I don't know what they're going to do now since they ain't got no team anymore, but I mean, you got James Harden, Kevin Durant, and Kyrie Irving, so they should be able to.
Now they gotta figure it out.
They'll figure it out. They're superstar players. They're championship level players, except for Harden.
Yeah.
That has been another episode. I see Elon took down the background screen, so that's how you know it's time to wrap up. That's been another episode 2 of Pound the Rock podcast with my boy Elon. It's your boy King John 301, saying sayonara. Take it easy, people. Be blessed. Take care. We'll see you guys next time.
Peace.